You are now tuned in to the Cosmic Convos podcast, your number one source for accurate, relevant, and thought-provoking astrological conversations in the podcast nation. The place where stars and minds align.
Peace. You're now tuned into the Cosmic Convos podcast. I'm your humble host, Root, and got my good brother here, Brother Ra. How you doing?
Oh, brother, excited, man. This is the 25th episode of season 2. So it's a glorious thing to have made it this far and to continue on in the process. So definitely excited about today's episode, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. We're right here at the season finale of season 2. And we're going to be right back with season 3, real quick, and stuff like that. Because we got a lot of stuff going on. So we definitely going to make sure that we're live and, and impactful right here going through this next phase of the year. It's definitely going to be an eventful one. Indeed.
Oh yeah. Big thing.
Yeah, but we just, like I said before, when we break these things up into seasons, it just helps organize things and helps kind of with the flow of how information comes and stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely, man, definitely excited about this one, right? But before we get too far, I want to remind you all that this episode is brought to you by Push It Forward Media Group, Calipusha Astrology, and our patrons over on Patreon. Big shout out to the patrons. They definitely been holding it down out there, asking great questions, making great contributions and things like that. So we definitely appreciate you all. Definitely we want to expand that. And, hey, if, hit us up, man. Hit us up on there and let us know, what different things you want to see, because we'll definitely take it in consideration indeed or whatnot. But as far as, our other sponsors, you can find Push It Forward Media Group on Instagram at Push It Forward. That's PUSHITFWD. And you can also find us on the web at pushitforward.com. There that's where you get the actual sidereal chart package. If you're interested in this, you can get your long way shirt. You can also get the Cosmic Convos shirt on there as well for the brothers, and the kings and the queens out there. We got the shirts for you, different things like that. We also got some other things coming up too. We're gonna reveal that when season 3 kicks off, indeed. And then brother, how do people get a hold of you in Calipusha Astrology?
Primarily hit me up on via my email at kalapurushastrology@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Facebook or Instagram via Shechem Ra. So tag me one of those ways and I'll get back at you.
Indeed. And make sure you follow us on Instagram at Cosmic Convo, COSMICCONVO. Hit us up on Cosmic Convos on Instagram, and we're at the Cosmic Convos podcast on Facebook. So make sure you get with us there, interact with us there, and that's where you can get to the link to all our different outlooks, the Calipurusha, Push For, all that good stuff as well. You can get to it from our Instagram site and our Facebook page and everything, right? So yeah, man. Episode 24 has been getting a pretty good response, right? A lot of people were very curious about that, and a lot of people wanted us to do Chadwick Boseman. Some people asked, like, why didn't we cover him on this one? But first thing, his death wouldn't qualify as a sudden death, even though it's sudden to us, but it wasn't. It didn't happen like that in real life. and then also we just don't have a good time or good time of birth for him. It's even a discrepancy of what year he was actually born. So we have to wait until we get some good data, and maybe we could, and even rectifying it takes some time. it takes a lot of time, you know. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
we lucked up on Nipsey Hussle.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Nipsey was luck because before, right when he passed, Harut and I were going back about what we were surmising the ascendant was,
yeah.
right? And we was going between Sag. I think we were doing Cat, we were doing Aquarius,
Hmm.
and it ended up being Aquarius, but
Yeah,
we weren't far off though. We weren't actually far off,
yeah, yeah.
But that was just by chance that we got it and ran with it. So if we get the same information at a later date, we would definitely go back and do a special. More than likely, even try to tie it into maybe his date of birth if it falls in that sequence of events. So if y'all find a great time, shoot it to us. We'll vet it, and then if it sounds good, we'll do it.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So, yeah, you know, um, with that being said, man, I don't want to waste no time. You know, um, let's get into some a question or
Let's do
whatnot
it.
from our patrons.
Let's do it.
So we got one question from the our Patreon family, and that question is they wanted to know about some what's the what is some significance of getting married on a full moon?
That's a good question. Few things about a full moon.
Hmm.
One, uh, we want to know what day it's on, right? So you would really look to see if that full moon falls on a Tuesday, if it falls on a Saturday, if it falls on possibly a Sunday. What day does the full moon fall on? Because that full moon is going to kind of imbibe the day of the week that it's on. So it would be crucial to understand that. But
Hmm.
inside of just the full moon itself, which we call Purnima, right, in Jyotish, actually that's a very auspicious day to marry, right? A very auspicious day to marry. It really talks about the ancestors and what we call the Petries, what we call the ancestors, but what are called the Petries, right? The departed ancestors shine down and bless us on that day,
Hmm.
right? And so anything to do with marriage, right, on that day is actually very auspicious, right? Now, again, considering you have to know what day of the week that falls under, but more than likely, if it's on a day that's not malefic, which means Tuesday, Saturday, or usually Sunday, those are the days you want to avoid getting married. The best days are Thursdays and Fridays to get married. Right? And
Hmm.
traditionally, in most cultures in the West, we get married on which day?
Saturday.
Which is the worst one, the worst days to get married on, right? Things fall apart unless you're really designed to be married to
Man,
each other.
come to think of it, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while since I've seen a full moon on a Saturday. I think
Hmm.
it's been some time. Trying
Yeah,
to think of when the last full moon was
I think
came
I
through
saw
on
a
a Saturday.
few of them on a Sunday
Hmm.
recently, but
Yeah.
if I had to say out of the three malefic days, it would be Sunday. I would choose,
Hmm.
right, because Sunday still gives you some degree of decorum and self discipline, even though it's going to be a battle of the wills, right? Because the sun deals with who's the boss.
Yeah.
So you want to avoid that day if possible, if it's on a Sunday. But again, out of the 3 days, if that is the only option you have, by all means, that would be the day I would choose. Full moon on a Sunday would be better. Full moon on a Tuesday or full moon on a Saturday.
Yeah. Now what if Saturn is like governing your seventh house and different things like that? You think?
Well, I mean, if it governs your seventh house, you still want to try to do that full. Getting married on a full moon is
Hmm.
auspicious, right?
Yeah.
Um, and if that Saturn is in any kind of way or shape, form, or fashion connected to the seventh house, that could boost or help that,
Hmm.
right, in that challenging area of life, because Saturn in the seventh is somewhat of a challenge.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would definitely choose the day. What I do as a service is we could do what's called a muhurta,
Hmm.
and a muhurta. In fact, we probably will do a show on it next season, right, on
Yeah.
muhurtas, right. But a Muhurta is a chart that we create to kind of really get the best optional time to choose to do something that requires any forethought. So, for example, marriage, buying a bit, starting a business, purchasing a home or a vehicle, taking a trip. Doing different things that we do normally in life should be started at an auspicious time. And marriage, of course, is no exception to the rule.
Yeah.
But muhurtas are created so that we know, really out of all the time frame we have in front of us, of course, within a reasonable time, what's the real most optional time? Because you really don't have a perfect time, but you have a times that are better than others. And we find that via Jyotish, and that's a service that I do offer as well.
Indeed, indeed. So hopefully we answered that question for you and whatnot. That's definitely a good thing to know. Especially nowadays, man. Like, Rob was just saying that most people get married on an inauspicious day. And, our as a society, marriage doesn't have a good track record in this country. So
It makes sense, right?
yeah. Might be something we need to look at, right?
Definitely.
Indeed. Indeed. So let's go ahead and get into today's topic, right? Here we are at the season finale, and like I said, we're gonna be right back coming with the next season. But I think it'd be a good time, to kind of project into the future a little bit. COVID is still a reality, right? A lot of our leadership, quote unquote leadership, is kind of trying to act like it's not a thing, right? So you see, different governments, different, states, opening up and, trying to, force, this normality into place. But, meanwhile, numbers are still going up. People are still getting sick. And we haven't even hit flu season yet. So, it's a lot going on. And, one of the burning questions that everyone has is, when is this all gonna, when is it gonna end? Right? When is it, the COVID situation going to normalize in some capacity?
Mm-hmm.
And in previous shows, we already stated that, there's gonna be a new normal. It's not gonna go back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're not gonna be sitting here like, under the gun of COVID-19 or COVID-20 or COVID-22 in the same capacity like we've been under the gun for the past, year, or past 8 months or so or whatever. So today we're gonna get into that, look and see what should we expect. And this is important because I mean we got businesses, we got jobs, we got all types of stuff going on and stuff like that. So, it's a good barometer of how you should, just kind of prepare yourself for what's moving forward and whatnot.
Yeah, we're in strange place right now
Hmm.
because if you're watching and paying attention to the news and the media, you're noticing that there is not a decrease on these cases. There's not a lull or a stabilization point at all. And within the context of that happening, people are not stopping their normal daily lives. They're not taking it to the level of where they're looking at it from a perspective of the fallout that could happen from being just overwhelmed, right? And remember that word, overwhelmed,
Yeah.
by the fallout of the potential flu season, right? That is about to hit. And when we look at where we are in transits right now, Rahu and Ketu are making their shift, right? They're in the area of the zodiac, which is between fire and water signs, or water and fire signs, because Rahu moves backwards. So between water and fire signs, right, this particular area where they meet, right, is called a Gandanta zone.
Hmm.
And Gandanta means literally to tie it. It's a knot, right? But it's also akin to or considered to be drowning,
Hmm.
right? Or to be over what,
Whelmed.
right? And so this is what is happening. So you're seeing that the nodes are moving very slowly and they're right at the cusp, the precipice to move into the next phase of things, and that happens September 23rd of this year. Now, isn't that ironic? Right when September 23rd hits, when the shift happens, flu season is really upon us.
Yeah.
Right. And so the nodes will stay in that Gandanta zone for a good period of time, probably throughout towards the remainder or the end of the year. And when it comes out of that zone, it'll be in a whole different framework. But here's the thing: we're dealing with Rahu and Mrigashira right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back a little bit to kind of talk about why this whole thing kind of exploded, right? And when it started. And we did a show, right? We covered a great deal of it, but just this recap. So December 26, 2019, right?
Yeah.
We had a nice little event, right? Which was actually pretty rare. You won't see it again in your my lifetime, right? But we had what we call a planetary pileup, right? In Sagittarius, right? December 26th. Now with that planetary pileup, right? When all these planets are kind of having a battle royale, right? Mm-hmm. You have a solar eclipse simultaneously.
Yep.
And literally, I mean, if you looked into the sky, all the planets looked like they were in a row, right? Yep. Directly, one after the other. So that planetary pileup in the sign of what? Sag, right? Yeah. And the antithesis of it is Gemini.
Yeah.
Right. So that Sagittarian Geminian process, right, yielded, right, this concentration or like a point of energy that poked through, and COVID came out on the other side.
Yeah.
Right? And so it didn't take 30. It didn't even take 30 days.
Yeah.
Right. For that particular thing to manifest. It took almost a lunar cycle. Just slightly before in January, when boom, right when Kobe passed, that's when we started hearing, right?
Yeah,
the COVID piece, and so that planetary pileup, we knew as astrologers. I especially knew because I know that America's ascendant is Sag. I knew America was going to be the major whatever's going on. America's going to be a major player. Obviously, you can see that now.
Yeah,
because America is at the top of the list in regards to being affected.
You know, I mean, so and that's the thing, man. I know not going to mention names, but there's some astrologers that's hell bent on saying that the ascendant for the United States is
29 degrees
Scorpio. I mean, this year alone should tell you what the true ascendant is. I mean, it's just revealed itself in such a major way. I mean. So, I mean, you can, you have the freedom, to, explore it how you want to explore it. But I mean, just from watching it, observing it, and seeing how things unfold. I mean, we should be pretty clear what the United States ascendant is at
check
this
it out.
point.
If it's 29 degrees Scorpio,
mm-hmm.
we should see something very phenomenal in the next 30 days, 30 to 45 days. We should see something so phenomenal when that particular, because that's actually at the Gandanta zone. 29 degrees Scorpio was Gandanta zone.
Yeah.
So we should see when K2 rolls through that point, something magnanimous occur with regards to the nation and the trajectory of this country.
Yeah.
Not in the world, but this nation, because the trajectory of this country has been affected vastly by COVID. Obviously, the world has, but our trajectory is different because we have this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde issue with 4 planets in the 7th house, but Sagittarius as a disposition is freedom loving.
Yeah.
Right? See, the Sagittarius, and I want to digress just a second, we'll come back. But Sagittarius is freedom loving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Scorpio is fearful. Scorpio is the kind of energy that armors itself. It has an exterior skeletal structure.
Yeah.
So it's armored to the point where nothing can penetrate. It's fearful. If you understand, if you've ever had to deal with a woman that has moon and Scorpio, not all women, folks, I know a lot of them like, what do you mean? Right?
Yeah.
But the mothering style is penetrative.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The mothering style is really almost to the point it could be overwhelmingly smothering. Right? Not freedom oriented, but to the point of literally everything is a contingency.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's not America. Do you see anyone functioning on a contingent level at all? No, not at all.
No.
Everybody's about fun, about getting out, about exploring, which is Sag, right?
Yeah. Don't
It's
don't
about
tread on me.
right. It's about travel, Sag,
Yep.
right? So you see what I mean? And it's about throwing caution to the wind, Sag,
Yeah.
right? So you know what I mean? Like I don't see how people can surmise Scorpio because Scorpio is deadly with precision with regards to fear and manipulation. As far as this would be concerned, America would be to the point of manipulate. And then not only that, within Jayesta, and I get why he would say that because America is considered as a cop of the world, right?
Hmm.
And Jayesta is like the police officer or the cop of the zodiac. I get it, the detective or what have you. But
Hmm.
literally, America doesn't have a scorpionic disposition.
Doesn't
You
lead
know what
with
I
that.
mean? Yeah, we don't lead. Sagittarius fits because it's a broad country. Scorpio would be concentrated. It'll be smaller. It'd
Hmm.
be focused. It'd be serious. It'd be intentful. America's not a serious country at all, right?
Hmm.
And back America is kind of like very jovial, right? Very exuberant, right? Very boastful, right?
Yeah. Like.
America. In fact, we were talking about that. Remember,
Yeah.
we're talking about the boastfulness and how you know what I mean, putting it out there just with all these military abilities and all that.
Hmm.
China doesn't. I've never. China doesn't. They do, but not like America.
You don't
Right?
see military formations in America, like
No, you don't.
in normal, like you see like North Korea or you see China and stuff like that. They got the people over there running and they marching, like in you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
in
yeah, 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 yeah,
you don't
yeah.
really see that here, you
No,
know,
no, and
not like that.
no, and that's Marshall,
Very
right?
martial.
You see what I mean? This is a
Yeah.
land of laws about right, so-called democracy and freedom of choice. Choice be between Beelzebub and Satan,
Hmm.
between the lesser of two evils, right? The illusion of choice, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's America, right?
Very
And that's
idealistic.
Sag.
Yeah.
Very, very idealistic. Sagittarius to the hill, man. Perfectly stated.
Yeah.
But back to being on topic, those planets did a pile up in Sag, and that literally has a ramification. It has a very heavy ramification and effect on this nation and where we're headed. It's not over, right?
Hmm.
We're not even in the thick of the woods. And to talk about how this works, when you look at the Spanish flu in 1918, it had a similar kind of outcome in that they didn't take it that serious in the beginning. And like I said, this thing has mutated. Go check it out, folks, in the news. This thing has mutated. It mutated in the summer because I said heat will cause the mutation, right? And it did. So we don't know what to expect with the new COVID coming forward in the fall. Now, again, taken for granted, we're in a Gandanta zone, right? So we're kind of in suspended what animation,
Yeah.
right? You're in that, when you're floating in the pool, you kind of like there's no bottom, right? Where's the bottom? That's how we feel right now, right? That's why the Gandanta zone feels that bottom, like a bottomless, overwhelming feeling. If you've ever been in the ocean, man, that is like when you're in the ocean, and especially at night, there's just
Don't do it. That's not
yeah.
a good idea. Don't go in the ocean at nighttime. All
No,
right?
I've been out there before. I've
Yeah.
been out there before. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
when I lived in Galveston,
Yeah.
we went out on a boat, man, and
Oh
it
yeah.
is.
Now the boat. I'm thinking about swimming. Like,
Oh no, 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 no.
don't go swimming.
But had I been in that water, it would have been terrifying, right? Because it's dark, it's black. Only thing you got is the boat lights and the lights that are offshore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
nothing but black,
Hmm.
right? And so that's how literally being in that ocean, right? It feels like that in the Gandanta zone. Where is the bottom?
Yeah.
Right? Where are we headed? Right? What is going on? Right? And that inside of being where Rahu is in Mrigashira, right? Mrigashira is the star of search, right? It's the searching star. It's the most curious nakshatra. It's the most curious portion of the whole zodiac.
Mm.
So curiosity is its thing, right? But
Hmm.
curiosity in the sense that Rahu, which is the virulent factor, Rahu is viruses, right? Anything that's seen, bacteria, viruses, unseen agents, right?
Hmm.
That's Rahu. And so it's in that point of trying to learn, and you can feel like America wants to try to stabilize. We're trying to get back to stability,
Hmm.
right? But we're not there, right? Because Rahu has to go through Taurus to stabilize. It's not going to stabilize when it gets into Taurus. It has to go through Taurus, right? And Rahu takes about 19 months to move through every sign.
Hmm.
Okay. So we got 19 months of Rahu in Taurus, which is actually pretty good because and Rahu is not exalted in Taurus. That is a lie. Right?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a Rahu Ketu exaltation because they're not planets. They've been given the status of planets, but they're not planetary energies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The Lord of Rahu, the Lord of Ketu, dictates the real power of Rahu and Ketu. Remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not Rahu and Ketu, because they only take on whatever energies they imbibe in. So it could be in Scorpio, and they say it's debilitated, but if Mars is strong, strengthened, and is supported by different factors, Rahu and Scorpio can be very powerful. In fact, I believe one of I don't want to say I know it's not Dennis Frawley, but there is an astrologer that has Rahu and Scorpio. Right? There's a couple of them,
Mm-hmm.
very powerful people, right? Because Scorpio actually likes Rahu, believe it or not, right? So there's no hard nosed rule that says that Rahu is exalted in Taurus. But what we do know is Rahu is stabilized in Taurus. Right?
Yeah.
So you need Rahu in these different signs, in Scorpio, in different Aries. Because Rahu, it shakes things up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It changes, it gets things out of the stagnancy of what we've come to accustomed to being, right? And so we've got pretty stagnant. We can see some things that we do need to fix as far as American life and how we work and how we travel and all those things. We can adjust. So it's good that that happens, but it just happens through an event that literally calls us to a wake up call. But back to Rahu and Mrigashira. Mrigashira is the star search, right? So that star search, we're actually out there looking for the answers. We're looking for a vaccine, searching. We're looking to
Mm-hmm.
see how and when this is going to end. We're looking to see how can we minimize the damage to the economy, to the educational system, right?
Yeah.
We're searching for these answers to try to come to a realization of what we can do to minimize the damage, right? And
Yeah.
Rahu's going to be moving through Mrigashira for a while. It
Mm-hmm.
still has 6 degrees of Mrigashira to go, right? So when it's out of Mrigashira and it's into Rohini,
Mm-hmm.
right, that is when we will begin to see some of the stabilization factors, because Mrigashira is ruled by Mars. And so Mars, right, being the undergirding energy of Mrigashira, it causes that impulsive drive, that impulsive nature to search and then lull, search and then lull, right? Because remember, it's a deer. Mrigashira is a deer, so it has to have some contentment to it. It
Mm-hmm.
has to be able to calm down and then go for its search again. It's foraging for food.
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to have this kind of search and then cease process while Rahu is traveling through. So this will happen more than likely towards the beginning of the year. When Rahu comes out of Mrigashira and moves into Rohini, that's when we really will see a lot of the stabilization in regards to the economy, as far as commodities are concerned, as far as things of what we're dealing with from the fallout. It'll be less affected, but still affected, because we got to go through this flu season.
Mm-hmm.
The real point in which we want to look for a kind of a change of pace, right, is after the next flu season, right? Because this thing's not going to be over just because we go through it this year, right? We've still got to phase this thing out, and Rahu has to go through Rohini, and Rohini is ruled by the moon, right? So Rohini, right, in the sign of the moon, does fairly well, right? But for it to eradicate something or to remove something altogether, Rohini is a very passive nakshatra, right? It doesn't literally move or allow things to change shape or be destroyed. It just calms things down long enough where you can think, you can reason, right? Where the virulent energy is not so prevalent on a death-like level, right? Finally, when we leave out of that phase, and we will leave out of that phase as of October 5th of 2021. Now, that is going to simultaneously hit with another flu season. So at this time, by then, we will have a good bead and control on COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And Rahu will move into a very specific portion of Taurus called Kritika. Now, Kritika is where this will change, right? Now, yes, we have to go through the flu season. So October 5th, that is when we will begin to see that when the new flu season hits, it will not be like this flu season where we'll be overrun. We'll have more control. We'll have more information. We'll have more experience. We'll have more things to control it and to deal with it. When we come out of that phase, that is going to take us into the next layer. Now, there's 4 padas in each of the nakshatras, right? And well, Mrigashira has 4 padas, Rohini has 4 padas, and Kritika has 4 padas.
Mm-hmm.
It will hit the first pada as of October 5th, 2021. It has to move through the Piscean pada, right? Because it moves backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Piscean pada will not destroy it, right? It will allow us to deal with it on a massive global level, but it will not completely destroy it. We'll have a global network of how things are done. There's protocols that will be in place that will all be shared, and that will allow us to put things into proper perspective. The next pada is Aquarius, right? That is where the scientific teams and all those things were literally, I would say at that point, patent a strong what you call a vaccine, if you will, that would literally be effective so that whenever whatever issue comes up with COVID again, or people can prepare for it in advance. Because that's what Aquarian energy does. It's the scientific part of the zodiac, right? Aquarius is literally the sign of sciences, along with Sagittarius, of course. When it moves into the Capricorn pada, right? That is towards the beginning to the middle of 2022,
Mm-hmm.
right? When that happens, that is when literally at that point will be between winter and spring. When winter and spring happen at that point on April 12th of 2022, that's when Rahu will move into Aries, and it will move into the Sagittarius pada of Kritika. Now, why do I say Kritika is the answer as far as the astrological time is concerned? Because Kritika, right? Each one of these nakshatras has what we call an avatar or a deity that's associated with it, right? And the force or entity that governs Kritika is Agni,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Agni is the god of fire, right? So Agni, right, has some very specific traits to it. Each one of these kind of has a Shakti, right, which is a power, and it also has it to where these two things are kind of like there's two things that kind of fit that come out and play a role in how the sign functions. So there's an above role, there's a below role, right? The above role or the above kind of essence of Kritika is heat, right? Which we already have heard in some form or fashion destroys, right, this virus. Right? So when the energy of Rahu passes through that zone, it literally is reduced, right? It's burnt, it's singed, right? The other aspect, which is on the below, so you have heat above and you have light below, right? And that light also is a contingent energy or zone, because these are zones, to destroy that Rahu type of violence or issue. And that happens right when, and this is April 12th, the sun will move right into Aries simultaneously, or literally 3 days later on April 15th. So April 15th, we have Rahu in Aries and we have the sun in Aries. Right. That is when, and that is the springtime. That is when we will have a definitive, right, definitive way of dealing with it, addressing it, putting it into proper perspective. Everything will literally come together. And from that point on, COVID won't necessarily be history, but it'll be something that we deal with on a very secondary or tertiary level.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't have far to go, but we definitely got to get through 2021. Right.
Yeah.
And 2021, my concern of 2021 is the economy, right? Not less COVID, more economy, right? Because remember I told you, we haven't even still seen the economy hit rock bottom yet. It's still fluxing.
No.
If we hit another fall like we had in the spring with the shutdown, which it seems that it may happen. And here's the thing, we have an election coming up, right? That election is going to be a game changer because whoever's in office, which we know who will be, right?
Mm-hmm.
they're going to have to do something to address or answer, right, whatever's going on. And I would
Hmm.
surmise shutdown, right? Not to
Yeah,
say, not to say in the way that we did originally, but it seems that that's the rhetoric that he's promoting.
yeah, and I think a lot of it, some of what may propel, um, Biden and Harris in the office is the blowback from how COVID, you know, um, comes into fruition during the flu season, because everybody on the right wing side of things is trying to get everybody back into doing everything normal, and
Mm-hmm.
then you see this thing, and I think it'll be more obvious then, like, okay, this is you don't you're not doing things that's in our best interest, and it'll be enough of a blowback to make it. But even then, though, it's going to be an interesting election day, and months after, and inauguration, if there's even an inauguration at that time.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be either side that wins, man. It's gonna be. I mean, I know the side that's gonna win.
Hmm.
It Joe Biden will be. I mean, and here's the thing, folks, pay attention. I mean, Trump, whatever they're doing to Trump, if the powers that be, like, let's okay, man, your time's up. You got to go, right?
You
Because
got,
no. Let's just check
yeah,
this out for a quick second, right
yeah.
before we go. I want you to think about something. Do you know the statement that he made when he made the statement? Do you know when he made it?
Which statement?
Trump. This Trump. I'm talking about the statement that Trump made about the military, about the fallen soldiers. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear that
Oh
one. No.
wow, let me inform you.
Yeah.
So Trump recently made a Trump was recently accused of making a statement that he said that all of the people that were buried at a military cemetery, veteran cemetery. I can't remember the name and what the whole scenario was, but
Hmm.
he said that all these. Why do I need to go see a bunch of losers? Right now, here's the
Wow.
But here's the thing. See, this is when you start hearing things, because I want to know when did he say it, because that tells me something.
Yeah.
He said it November of last year. I'm like, why y'all wait till now? Because
Mm.
they're putting things into position, right?
Yeah, that
They're
day.
they're moving him out. You can clearly see it now. So I mean, because I'm sure you'll get wind of it now. You'll see it, but
Hmm.
every news channel, man, every news channel, they're showing his ratings, and I'm like, you got less than 2 months to do something that would literally change or alter that perception, and it's
Hmm.
not likely, right?
Hmm.
So, I mean, I'm sorry, folks, but I mean, astrology is a science of tendencies, right? We see patterns. And when we see a pattern that continuously gets worse for this man, he's got planets in the sixth house kicking his hind. He got Saturn in the sixth house right now, and his enemies are strong. Right, his enemies are coming in to take him out. And I mean, Biden jumped all over that. He got up there and said, "Oh my God, how could you say a thing? My son was in the military. Da 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 in the military. Da 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 da." So
Hmm.
it's just lining it up, man. You
Yeah.
can clearly see it. And he even says that Biden will be the next president. Trump says it, right? So, I mean, he knows his time is up. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, folks, what I mean? This is how they play the game. They
Hmm.
wait until the right time, because he said that November of 2019. They could have said that in December. They could have said it in January. They could have said it in any other time. They wait till now to drop that bomb, right? And that tells you that the powers that be, right, are plotting. They're putting things into position because, right? How would you wait? Why would you wait? And then,
Yeah. Somebody got that. It's like, all right, my
yeah,
back pocket.
got you on
Right.
that one, B.
Yeah.
Got you, B. Got you, B. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Wait till we need that. Remember that? Here you go.
Hmm. Boom.
hmm There you go. So yeah, his goose is cooked, man. It's
His
pretty
goose is
much done.
good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
over, man. His election, his presidential days are far behind. Will be far behind him soon.
Hmm.
But the thing is that whoever gets in office,
It's gonna be rough.
it's gonna be real rough, right? Because the fallout I would predict from this flu season is gonna be. And here's if you've noticed, flu season is not the same as it used to be. Like right when September, October hit, you get sick. It kind of lingers, and it does a little November thing too, right? So it's like No, now we're looking at November and then December, and next month is the inauguration. So you know what I mean. It's going to be quite an interesting ride of the next right out of the year. So that's why we're going to be on top of this, folks. With season three, right? We definitely going to be covering as much as we can to get the information out there from an astrological purview.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So, yeah, man. I mean, this is like I said, this is it's important to know, right? You
Hmm.
know, because I mean, we all got things that we're trying to plan, different things like that. So, you know, those are our listeners. You know, you'll be ahead of the pack. Everybody else will be out here guessing, like, when is it going to end? Is it going to end next month? Hopefully, it's going to. You know what I mean? They're talking about open up the schools and thinking that in October it's going to go away somehow, and so you already know. So if
No,
you got a question, I know a lot of people out there they have um, decisions to make in regards to whether to send their children back to school or not. And a lot of school systems are giving you an option. Um, you have the information, right? It's not going
indeed,
to be gone by October. It's not going to be
mm,
gone by that time. So you can make your decision based on that, right? you know,
indeed.
Indeed. But with that being said, this episode was brought to you by Pushing Forward Media Group and Kala Purusha Astrology, and our good people over there on Patreon. Um, you know, again, special shout out to the patrons. Definitely hit us up there if you want to become a patron. You can get to that from our Instagram. Um, Click on the link tree down in our bio, and then you'll see the link to the Patreon, and amongst other things as well. You get to that from our Patreon at Cosmic Convo, and make sure you share us, right? Share these episodes, let people know and stuff like that, and so we can definitely take this to the next level and arm people with the knowledge that they need to know. You know what I'm saying? The weather, the real weather, right? And stuff
Indeed.
like that. Right. Brother Rod, you got anything else you wanna say before we get out on this
No,
one?
I just want to say thank you to all the patrons and listeners and followers. We've had an awesome season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited to start a new season, and hopefully we will have a whole nother level, right, where people can be more interactive, right,
Mm-hmm.
and actually come on and have some real time conversations about astrology and really talk about how we can use the science on a regular basis to enhance our lives. So I look forward to season three, and thank y'all for season two. It's been a great season.
Absolutely, man. And I want to reflect the same sentiment, man. This season, we've been able to really get a nice, strong foundation in place. Our listenership has grown. We have a viewership now. We're doing the visual thing, and people have been responding to that pretty well, as well. And season three, we definitely got some different things coming. Some I'm not gonna say right now, but
Can't let the cat out the bag
yeah,
yet. Yeah,
you're gonna see some a different format, different things coming out for season three. So definitely stay locked in for that and stuff like that. And yeah, man, I want to thank you all for supporting us. Here was episode 50. You know, um, so this is a good space, man. We got a nice, good catalog to go, and I know we get new listeners all the time.
hmm
Um, you know, Go back and listen to these shows, man. Most of these shows are timeless. We have a couple shows that's kind of tapping into something that's specific for that time period, but about 98% of the stuff that the topics that we cover is always relevant. So I encourage you to definitely go back, dig into the catalog, binge listen, binge watch the whole nine and stuff like that. And again, let people know. All right. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in for season two and tuning in for episode 25 of season two, episode 50 overall. I want you all to be safe out there. And we're going to be back, and we'll be back in a week or so, right? With another banging season, and look forward to season three. All right, we're out. Peace.
Peace.